Good evening, I'm Smita Sharma and you heard it first and exclusive on India Today that Chinnamma is all set to swear in as the new Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu Tuesday morning. Akshita Anandagopal joins me on the broadcast from Madras University where the swearing-in ceremony will happen. Akshita, over to you. What fantastic twists and turns in the states over the last few months.
Absolutely, Smita. Thanks very much. Hello and welcome to all our viewers. A very good evening. We're coming live to you from Chennai's Madras University. I want to show you exactly where exactly Sashikala Natarajan will be sworn in. This is the historic venue where we've seen all the chief ministers being sworn in Tamil Nadu. And as per sources, this is where Sashikala Natarajan will be taking oath tomorrow morning. You can see there's a massive police presence in the area. There is a bit of confusion over the time as well. The AIADMK at this point is tight-lipped, but many are saying it could happen sometime in the morning between 8 to 11. Having said that, there's massive preparations going on here, a lot of activity at the Madras University. We have to keep in mind, of course, that the swearing-in ceremony is something that the AIADMK seems to be pushing almost as soon as possible. Reports initially suggested that it could happen on February 9th, which is a very, very auspicious day known here as Thaipusam. So it was expected to happen on 9th February. Sashikala, of course, known to be a very superstitious person. But there are a number of weights that hang over her head, and possibly those influenced the AIADMK's decision to ensure the swearing-in ceremony is had at the earliest. Let's take a look at the kind of preparations that are taking place right here at the Madras University. Deputy Editor Rohini Swami filed this report earlier.
Well, preparations have started in the centenary building of the Madras University for the swearing-in ceremony of V.K. Shashikala. Her elevation from the General Secretary to the leader of the Legislative Party and now the Chief Minister is something that was done as what is now being called a surgical strike of sorts in Tamil Nadu. In terms of how the preparations are taking place, let's give you a quick view. You can see how the police deployment has taken place. There is a police deployment all across the university here, along with the fact that barricades are being put all over. While the barricades are being made, also the arrangements are being done. This is the exact place on May 23rd last year when Jayalalitha again took oath as the Chief Minister after her stint, especially after the disproportionate assets case, and she was acquitted out of it. Again, V.K. Shashikala is looking at swearing in herself as the Chief Minister in this very place where J. Jayalalitha, her close confidant, who Jayalalitha calls her a sister she never had, she will be standing there taking oath as the Chief Minister. What is interesting also is how the turn of events have taken place in Tamil Nadu specifically. As soon as it was declared that O. Paneerselvam resigned and said that V.K. Shashikala will be the Chief Ministerial candidate, soon after that we have seen that there has been a lot of flashback, especially not just in the social media but also amongst people from other parties, and also the cadre also yet to understand exactly how this elevation took place. The questions are simple. One, whether V.K. Shashikala can be a good administrator, whether she can deliver the way her predecessors, M.G. Ramachandran and Jayalalitha, did. And also the question is whether, like we have just seen a press conference that was held by the doctors who were treating Jayalalitha, whether that also is a way, a step ahead to clear the name of the family also, because a lot of allegations came about Jayalalitha and possibly what V.K. Shashikala's involvement would have been while she was in hospital. Clearing the decks, clearing her name, whether that is a move that is being made. But in 6 months' time, she will have to go and people have to vote for her. That will be her litmus test. Kamal Shrimurthy, Rohini Swami in Chennai for India Today.
Okay, so that was a report on the kind of preparations. You see lights are all around me, barricades are put up, there's a heavy police presence, there are screening monitors at the entrance of the Centenary Auditorium. I want to get in a quick word from my colleague Akshaya Nath, who's been tracking all the updates from Poise Garden as well. Akshaya, at this point, what are your sources telling you? Because there's no real confirmation per se on when that swearing-in ceremony is going to take place. The AIADMK has been rather tight-lipped over a number of developments over the last few days, and understandably so. But even now, at this point, with barely hours to go, if that ceremony is going to take place tomorrow, there's still a hushed silence. Are you getting any word, really, any confirmation from the AIADMK on when the swearing-in ceremony will be?
Well, Akshita, it is seen that right now the AIADMK as a party has gone back to a time where they were always into a silent mode. It is seen that when former Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha was there, it was always a silent mode. And right now we're seeing that a similar situation has come back. Most of the party senior leaders are not confirming much about when the swearing-in ceremony is. But according to various sources, we are being confirmed that tomorrow, very likely, the swearing-in ceremony will be happening. And today, Vidyasagar Rao, the governor of Tamil Nadu, will be coming in, and also very soon after, the decisions and the timings will be officially announced. But right now we're hearing that there is a possibility of the entire swearing-in ceremony to happen between 8:30 and 9, because it's considered to be a very auspicious time, and also if not, maybe by 11 a.m. But this is again unofficial. We are not yet confirmed from the AIADMK party cadre. They're still tight-lipped about the entire procedure. But these are our reliable sources telling us about the timing, Akshita. And also, I'm right now standing here at the Poets Garden, and it seems that it's a completely hushed-up mode even here. Generally, you've been to Poets Garden and you know this place really well, and you know the kind of buzz that is always here, how party cadres keep coming in and out. But right now, today, we are seeing it is a very dull situation. There's no celebrations, there's no fireworks, there's no cracker display. All that we can see is the police presence who are guarding the Poets Garden residents here, Akshita.
All right, so that is the update from Poets Garden. Akshay also giving us details as far as that swearing-in ceremony is concerned. We've got sniffer dogs, we've got quite a bit of activity taking place here at the Madras University as well. It's a very historic venue that's witnessed history really being made, not just as far as politics is concerned. It's centuries old, so it's rather fitting that we're going to be seeing the swearing-in ceremony taking place here. There's a lot of media personnel, a lot of police officials, all of them present here, ensuring that all preps are made for that swearing-in ceremony. Will it be a grand affair? Will it be a quiet affair? Those are still questions that remain to be answered. But going by the preparations, it looks like it will be a grand affair with all of the AIADMK workers, supporters in attendance. But even as we talk about the swearing-in ceremony, many have questioned whether this is the right time for Sashikala Natarajan to take over, keeping in mind the legal challenges that she faces. And we're particularly talking not just about the forex violation cases, but also about the disproportionate assets case. And that could prove to be significant trouble for Sashikala, not just in the coming months, but in this week itself. The Supreme Court has said that we could expect a verdict in that controversial DA case by this week. And what does that mean for Sashikala Natarajan? Well, if she's convicted, it means that she will lose the CM chair in a matter of days. If she's sworn in tomorrow and the verdict comes in about 4-5 days, it means that she essentially was a chief minister for 3 to 4 days. Even as we talk about that development, there's another challenge that she faces. We're talking, of course, about a lot of public sentiment. Some of it has been growing, of course, Sashikala has been facing really stiff resistance, and I'm not just talking politically, but also among the people. And there's been a PIL that's been filed to stay the swearing-in ceremony of Sashikala Natarajan. So we'll have to watch that development closely as well. But before we discuss those details, as well as the fallout of the DA case and what it will mean for Sashikala Natarajan, here's a look at some political reactions.
Well, we congratulate Shashikala ji on becoming the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. It's very interesting to watch what is evolving after Jaya ji's passing away there, and the party won with a very big majority at that time. And democracy does not tolerate a vacuum. So this vacuum is bound to be filled by someone or the other, and everyone's in the race as it is in politics. So let's wait and see this space and see how that evolves. It's not an easy task for her, but I think she's quite capable of understanding the situation.
But ultimately, leader of the party will be always decided by the party members, party legislative members. So it is their will and wish what kind of leader they will be selecting. And if they are not able to live up to the expectations of the people, then they have not decoded the message properly. It should have been taken like that.
She is not elected as per the mandate of the people. Mandate of the people was for the ADMK and Jayalalitha. Now that she was never holding any party position, she was not even an MLA. She was not in active politics. Now she becoming the chief minister may not be acceptable to the people. And it is not the wish of the people of Tamil Nadu. So I think the crisis is just beginning.
All right, so some strong political reactions coming in on Sashikala Natarajan. Rohini Swami, a deputy editor who's been tracking the story very closely for the last many days, joins us live on this broadcast as well. Rohini, is there a growing public resentment against Sashikala Natarajan?
Well, yes. You cannot say no because simple reason that one, when you go on the streets and you ask people, they are first shocked. Secondly, they are like, why now? And why her, the chief minister? We did not elect her as a chief minister, and we elected Jayalalitha, and because we know of her and how she has delivered. We cannot forget the fact that Jayalalitha and her different schemes, be it her Amma schemes in terms of canteen, salt, bringing it down to the people, that is what they elected her for. Now, Sashikala, being the close confidant, has automatically elevated herself. Social media speaks the same, but you have the AIDMK MLAs saying yes, that is, she's the leader and she's who they want to follow, and she has promised that she will continue with Jayalalitha's promises. Now what we need to see is, it's inevitable that she's going to be the chief minister. It's inevitable that people are going to watch her as the leader of the government. So when she goes to vote, whether they are going to give her the advantage that she needs, or whether she manages to deliver and turn out to be a good administrator. It is testing times, litmus test for her, but definitely she'll have to try hard because right now everybody has to accept she's going to be the chief minister of Tamil Nadu.
All right, so let's go across to Akshaya Nath as well. Akshaya, talking about the kind of crowds that we witnessed really in these kind of situations, you know, a day before Jayalalitha swearing in, you'd barely be able to stand at Poise Garden. Today, it's completely empty.
Well, Akshita, that itself speaks the mood. You see that when Jayalalitha was there, the godlike persona that she had created among the party cadres, one was the driving force for most of these people to come here. In fact, even after her demise, we had seen that hundreds of people were gathering here on everyday basis. They used to come and visit the Poise Garden residence, and you know, there was a kind of a display that was there, a mini museum to be precise. And every day we had seen so many people coming here and visiting. But today, after the announcement of Sashikala going to be made the chief minister, and within few hours from now she will be swearing in as the chief minister of the state, and all that we can see is an empty picture. There are no party cadres flocking here. The only people who are coming in and out are senior party leaders. So it's a very disappointing sight, and looking at how it was before Jayalalitha and now, it's a completely different image.
It was the case yesterday as well, on a day when Sashikala Natarajan was announced as the next chief minister. We didn't see any crowds. We saw about 5 to 6 people present there. So that's what's surprising. I'm going to have to slip into a short break now. On the other side, even as we talk about public resentment, there's one voice, a very popular Chennaiite. Welcome back. We're joining you live from Chennai, from the historic Madras University. I'm standing right in front of the University Centenary Auditorium. This is where, if sources are to be believed, Sashikala Natarajan will be taking oath tomorrow to be the third woman chief minister of the state of Tamil Nadu. Hectic activity here. You can see police here, barricades, sniffer dogs, all of them are present. The whole lot are present here. This place is buzzing as preparations are being made for that mega swearing in ceremony. But even as Sashikala Natarajan is all set to become the next chief minister of Tamil Nadu, public voices have been growing. One such voice is of rapper Sophia Ashraf, who's a very prominent Chennaiite. She happened to step into Poise Garden yesterday, which is where, of course, Sashikala Natarajan lives, and also sang this song. The message of the song is that it's the death of democracy. Take a look.
First of all, yes, it's all very legal that Sasikala is in power, but it's not ideally democratic, is it? She has not contested in elections anywhere. She has not addressed the public at all. We don't know who she is, and she's just popped up in power. I mean, we know who she is, but she just popped up into power without any sort of democratic process in place. Show our dissent to AIDMK, to the central government, to say that you can't just force us to be governed by people who we did not elect. Of course, 6 months will tell whether Sasikala will make a mark here or not. But this is just our way of reclaiming public spaces, reclaiming social media, and reclaiming our right to dissent when you thrust upon us a leader who we did not elect.
All right, a very interesting video there by Sophia Ashraf. She's never really failed to entertain, has she? Senior journalist T.S. Sudhir now joins us on this broadcast as well. Sudhir, really, Sophia Ashraf has summed it up what many youngsters are thinking. You know, this is what the opposition has voiced, but this is also what several youngsters have voiced on social media, that it's undemocratic, that they haven't voted for Sasikala Natarajan. How will Sasikala tide over this kind of resentment, really? Do you think we could see some soaps in the offing, a very popular scheme in the offing as soon as she comes to power to sort of appease this kind of anger?
Well, two different kind of battles are really taking place, Akshita. One, of course, on the political front with the political parties like the DMK, the Congress, the BJP, the PMK coming out with rather predictable reactions to the news that Sasikala is going to take over as the Chief Minister tomorrow. But what would be of more concern to Team Sasikala would be these voices on social media, because a different kind of a battle and a more aggressive battle, as it were, is being fought on different forms of social media. WhatsApp forwards have a life of their own, and they actually give credence to various news and even rumors at many times. So in that sense, that will be a bigger threat to the perception that is being built around Sasikala. So in that sense, the branding of Sasikala will have to take note of this voice, these voices of discontent, not just from Sophia, but even someone like a cricketer like Ravichandran Ashwin, who would normally perhaps not comment on something very political, but making that very oblique reference to 234 MLAs in Tamil Nadu and predicting some kind of a snap poll, even though he has later clarified that it was not about politics. But of course, the message is really not lost on anyone, that the people of Tamil Nadu, the common man, the youngsters of Tamil Nadu are now coming out and talking politics, and perhaps that entire Marina uprising played a major role in that the youth were more politically aware of what is happening, and that's probably getting reflected in whether what is Sophia is singing or what Ashwin is tweeting about.
Absolutely, Sudhir. It's very rare, isn't it, to see celebrities, cricketers all coming out to voice their opinion on a political development in the state of Tamil Nadu. T.S. Sudhir, thanks for joining us on this broadcast. I'd also like to thank my colleague Rohini Swami as well as Akshay Nath for joining us over the last half hour. It's time for us to slip into a short break, but do stay tuned to India Today. On the other side is Sports Today, where the Madras University and tomorrow continue to stay tuned to India Today for our continuous coverage of the swearing-in ceremony with our team of reporters here on the ground in Chennai. Thanks for watching.